What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So crypto is tanking right now. I want to break it down, what's prompting it. Is this a good time to buy, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Ripple is down 6.54%, sitting at 304. It did have a daily low of 284 and 3.63 billion in volume over the last 24 hours. So when it did run up to the new 52-week high of roughly 340, it was getting an immense amount of volume. But since then, it did drop dramatically. I think there was more of a rotation out of that into, for instance, more speculative coins. But even aside from that, though, everything is selling off. So Bitcoin over the last 45 minutes has already lost $5,000. Ethereum down 3.19. Everything is just pulling back with the exception of Trump. And the main reason is the fact that there's inefficiencies going on. And I think this is actually kind of a subtle good thing for Ripple, is because Ripple, for sure, like no argument whatsoever, is the most efficient coin out there. And so, for instance, you are seeing this right here. So Solana, even I have firsthand experience roughly about a couple hours ago. I did buy Solana, transferred it to Phantom. So very kind of interesting that both of them are experiencing issues. So you have Bitcoin, very slow, Ethereum, very expensive. You have Solana that clearly can't handle a excessive amount of volume getting in. So there's just so much inefficiency. And I think at the same time, no offense to a lot of these other ones, I always kind of find it funny and comical when you actually have YouTubers trying to kind of talk on the actual utility of, let's say, I don't know, Bitcoin Cash or Shiba Inu. It just isn't there. Ultimately, it comes down to, and will come down to, pretty much the top 5. For the most part, you need utility. And one thing is, Ripple has sufficient amount of efficiency, definitely by far the most efficient coin out there. So as far as whether you need to buy the dip or not, big money and big whales are. It is just simply a lot of retail that is panicking. So even this was posted. So Trump himself did buy $26 million of Ethereum. So big whales are buying the dip, retail panic selling. At the same time, I think a lot of retail is very heavily leveraged. So you guys do whatever floats your boat. In my own personal experience, leverage isn't good whatsoever. Unless it's like a sure thing, but that's kind of risking on borderline gambling. But big whales is buying at the end of the day. So they're kind of liquidating and margin calling a lot of just retail. So they're being forced to sell. And right now it is following the trend to a T. So the crypto fear and greed index is under the neutral category, 58. So people's appetite for risk is starting to improve, which does coincide with this nice boom going into March. And this is something I've brought up time and time again, and it is playing out. As far as this goes, though, you have Ripple pulling back, and that's just because of the immense amount of longs liquidating their positions. So just on looks like January the 18th, 26.78 million, whereas shorts was just 4.07. So I think all in all, when it comes down to it, though, Ripple actually did hold its gains very, very well, despite getting a huge amount of just longs closing out the positions and a reduced amount of volume. So Ripple is poised to really move higher, and I think it's just a matter of time before they do get ETFs and whatever. But right now with it at 305, it is trading between these 2 points. So this R3 and this R2 did have a low, like I said, of that 280 something, but it kind of bounced off this general area. So it was oversold for that short period. So 293 going forward is going to be the next strong support. And then a retest potentially of that 333 is again on the table, but I think things need to improve a little bit more. But no matter what, we do know that this is the R2, a very strong support. So let me know your viewpoint. It does seem to be improving right now. So a lot of people, like I said, are buying the Ripple dip, as what a lot of people should be. I think people focused, and a lot of them are unfortunately sheep. They like to just sell when there's blood. big money kind of knows different, right? So as of right now, looking at the 1-day chart, I have the 50, 100, 200 day or 150-day moving averages, ALMA, and super trend. So right now it is below the ALMA, which is at $3.16, but it is recovering. So I do anticipate in the next little bit for it to be above that. Moving over to the 4-hour, everything feeds into each other on side note. So the 4 into the 1 and 1 into the 4-hour. But it did bounce off of this super trend, because if it was to break below that, then this is where you could see more of a significant pullback. So in the short term, definitely watch for that 291. And at the same time, that is exactly where that 50-day moving average. So that is a very strong support. If it does kind of stay here, it might be pinched between that ALMA and these very strong support levels. So that means you could have a very aggressive push higher or potentially push lower. So that's just my viewpoint on that. So all in all, you do whatever floats your boat, but out of any of the coins out there, I think the reason why everything is going down makes it even more of a reason why you need to buy Ripple. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. And with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.